First, why we have to watch Chhaava? We will go in the history and we will come back and see how you feel, whether you have to take your family or not. If you know. First Islamic invasion of Bharat. First one. It happened in 7th century by Muhammad bin Qasim from Persia. In the 11th century by Muhammad Ghazni. 11th century. Between the 7th and the 11th century, there are 300-400 years. What happened? So many came to do it, but nobody were allowed inside. That 300 years, what happened? History books were not, they deleted it. Our so-called historians who are communists, they deleted this chapter completely. If you go do research, there was a king called Lalitaditya Muktipada. He is from Korakota dynasty. Nobody knew it. Historians completely hid it. Other rulers, he's different from other rulers. What he did is he did not wait for somebody to come and fight. What he did is he went fighting like offensive. He went search. He went in search saying, you cannot even think of attacking my country. He went towards the Persia. So he attacked, he was offensive. So usually when kids play soccer or something else, what do you say? Go offensive. Don't be defensive. Because if you're defensive, you're always waiting for somebody to come and attack, put a goal. Instead, if you go attack, you put a goal, they will be scared. Opponent will be scared, right? So be offensive, right? He was offensive. He chose the path of being offensive ruler. So for 300 years, he started going and fighting. So not allowing anybody to come from Persia, from Arabic island. And then after his death, 11th century, that's when Muhammad Ghazni came inside. But even then there was lot of things going on. Historians, after that we know, after Muhammad Ghazni, we know a lot of things happened. As exactly Venkat was saying, 1400s is when actual Islamic complete dynasty started establishing in Bharat. How it started? First from Babur. The main person we know, Babur. Babur's son, Humayun. Humayun's son, Akbar. Akbar's son, Jahangir. Jahangir's son, Shah Jahan. Shah Jahan's son, Aurangzeb. That's how the entire Islamic dynasties ruled in Bharat. But at least this is known to a lot of people. When did that end? Islamic invasion completely end? After Aurangzeb. That is the final. Aurangzeb was the final major emperor, Islamic invasion emperor, who ruled most of the Bharat. During Aurangzeb time, when Deccan area, which is Maharashtra, Karnataka, all of this Konkan area, this is Deccan. It's called Deccan, but Britishers came and said Deccan. Okay, it's Deccan area. Maratha. But during that time, Shahaji, who was Shahaji? Who was Shahaji? Okay. Shahaji is Shivaji Bhonsle's father. He was working as a military ruler. Or Jijiyabai, who married Shahaji, she felt that why can't we fight against the Islamic invasion and protect our motherland? Why is that everybody is going and falling under the feet? And she prepared her son, Shivaji Bhonsle, Shivaji Raje, Shivaji Bhonsle, saying from his young age, she started inculcating that patriotism in him. So never bow against the rulers. Fight for your motherland. So what she did is she made him a warrior, and he started defending, he started ruling the Deccan, complete Deccan Empire. After 50 years, Shivaji, obviously because of some ill health, he died. Aurangzeb was so happy. At last, he could not invade for 30 long years Deccan. He fought so many wars, but Shivaji Raje, Chhatrapati Shivaji, he fought so well here. But nobody could invade. He was the Hindu Samrat, Hridaya Samrat. Because of him, we are still talking about Ram or Lakshman or Gita or Venkat. Otherwise, he will be Muhammad or whatever that is for now. If not, we are what we are today is because of Chhatrapati Shivaji. Aurangzeb was so happy after Chhatrapati Shivaji died. Obviously, right? A great king who was defending the thing and he wanted to completely enjoy, ruling the entire Bharat. But somebody is defending. So at last, he was so happy. All his ministers were so happy. And then when they said, okay, let's go and attack, take it over, they went and somebody started defending again. They could not understand what is happening in this land. So during that time, a young kid, 20-year-old kid, was fighting with 8,000 army against 800,000. Who was father of Navy? Father of Indian Navy. Chhatrapati Shivaji is called father of Indian Navy. He is the one who started by ships going and doing wars against Portuguese, against Islamic. Once when Chhatrapati Shivaji died, they were so happy, oh, no navy, we can attack through the sea, we can attack through, because Mumbai, everything is Arabian Sea, right? We can do it, but they could not. They found out this young kid who was called Shambhu. What's his name? Shambhu. Then somebody came to Aurangzeb and said, no, Chhatrapati Shivaji is dead. All right, we enjoyed. But now this new kid, who is Shambhu, he is defending. Then they found out who is Shambhu? He is Sambhaji, who is the son of Chhatrapati Shivaji. Chhatrapati Shivaji is called the lion. In the group they used to share. They used to call him Share, which is lion. And Sambhaji is called the cub of the lion at that time. That is why it's called Chhava. Chhava is cub. Against Islamic rule. In 8 years frame, he died when he was 31 years old. Very young. During the 8-year time, when he was 22 until 30, he fought so many hundreds, never got defeated. He won all of them. So Aurangzeb could not come in. At last, how do we get defeated usually? Traitors. His own people, they went to Aurangzeb and said, yeah, he is in such a tent now, you can go, he has only 100 people around him, go attack. They came with 100,000 or 200,000 soldiers because they know this is a tiger, it is there in the den, it's in the tent, it's a tiger, it's a cub. He being the warrior, he fought against them. At last, everybody caught him, they took him as a slave. Then Aurangzeb asked him 3 things. I will leave you 3 things. One is, accept me as the emperor of Bharat. Second, all your treasures, give it to me. Third, important, change from Sanatana Dharmist to Islam. If you accept for these 3 things, I will let you go. He did not, obviously. He fought for Swarajya. What is Swarajya? Freedom. Freedom for who? For Bharat. What is Bharat? Us. He fought for us. Sambhaji fought for us. He got caught. Then they took him. First he asked 3 things. He did not accept. Immediately he told his men, soldiers, and said, start humiliating him. First, they did not give him food for a few days. Starve, keep him starved. Put it in a dark room so he cannot see the sunlight. After a few days, still he's not. He said, okay, put him upside down on a camel. Go around the town and everybody has to throw stones at him. That's the order. He was put upside down, tied upside down on the camel. He was going around and stones were given to the people. They need to hit him. They hit him. And he forced some other people to urinate on him. They did. Then again he asked, do you accept for these 3? He said no. Then again more humiliation. He was tied, hands were tied, and each nail was plucked. Each nail was plucked. He thought he will scream. All he said is, Jai Bhavani. Whenever the nail was plucked, he was saying, Jai Bhavani. Then he asked after that, would you accept even now? He said no. His fingers were cut. And he was cut in all his body so that the blood comes out. Salt was put on that to humiliate, to make him so suffer. You know, when small thing happened, when you cut happened, try to put salt on it. It will burn. In his own whole body was cut and salt was put on it. They thought he will scream. He said, Jai Bhavani. Then he was looking straight at Aurangzeb's eyes and said, is that all? Aurangzeb, he was not happy that Sambhaji was caught. He was actually feeling guilty and he was actually angry that this fellow is not accepting to his orders. In spite of doing all this, he got angry, so much angry. He asked his men to make him suffer more. The iron rods were put into the flames and came and pierced into his eyes. Eyes were taken off. Then he asked, would you agree for these 3? He said, he laughed and said, is that all? This is for my Ma Bharati. Is that all you can do? And then his hands were chopped. His legs were chopped. Then he asked again. He said, no. He thought he would scream. Aurangzeb was longing every day, asking his soldiers, is he screaming? Is he screaming? They said, oh my God, forget about screaming. He is only saying Jai Bhavani. And when he asked, somebody went to take his eyes off, how was he feeling? He was scared, is it? He opened his eyes and said, come on. Aurangzeb was more angry. He could not believe. Is there a person like this? Is there a human being like this? He said, can one person in this world, can any human being like him be born in my dynasty so that I can rule the entire world? Why this land has created this many people? First his dad, then him. What is in this land? Obviously, after 40 days of humiliation, 40 days, diary, it is 40 days of humiliation. At last, he fell at the feet of Mahabharati. After his birth, he did not see his mom. Mom died when he was 1.5 years old. He was raised by who? Jijabai, the person who raised Chhatrapati Shivaji, his grandma. When he left his kingdom to go final war against Aurangzeb, his wife said, he asked her, "Are you worried?" She said, "No, I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about Aurangzeb." She said, "You're a mountain. How can a rat come against the mountain?" Now I said the dynasty of Islam, right? I told you Babur, then Humayun, then Akbar, then Jahangir, Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb. Complete history, family tree. Can anybody tell me about Sambhaji? I told you now, right? Sambhaji, dad is Shivaji. Shivaji's dad is Shahaji, right? Sambhaji's son, he named his grandfather's name, Shahaji. After his death, again, Aurangzeb was happy that, oh, even Sambhaji is dead. Now let's go and attack Marathas. When they went, they found another guy, very young fellow, 18-year-old, started defending. Who was he? Raja Ram Raje, who is his brother, Sambhaji's brother. Shivaji Bhonsle, Chhatrapati Shivaji had 3 wives. Shaiji Bhonsle was his mother, Sambhaji's mother. She died when he was 2 years old. But there was another lady, I forget, Sauryaji or somebody, Saurya Bhai. Raja Ram was her son. Actually, she wanted to make Raja Ram as the king, not Sambhaji. She actually sends a letter to even Aurangzeb's side saying, "I will fight with you against Sambhaji." But even knowing that, before going to war, he took blessings of her. But he told his wife, "If I don't return, make Raja Ram." He was a young boy at the time, 17-year-old. But by the time she dies, the mother dies. But when she gets to know her husband died, she makes his brother Rajaram as the next. And the Marathas, they will fight against Aurangzeb again to defend Raigad. So till now, Aurangzeb could not take it over. At last he tried in 1707, he died. And after that, Britishers came. That's the history. So you know when the Mughals came, when the Britishers came, who ruled when. This is the history. Now if I ask our own people, I'm pretty sure, in this community or anywhere, if I ask who is Sambhaji, not many people will know. He gave his life. He was tortured 40 days. All he said is, "Ma Bharati," right? We do not revere our own people. If I ask somebody, they will say, "Oh, he was a chief assistant, or he was right hand, he was brother or friend or something," right? But how will we know about Sambhaji? We talked about this before, but we should never forget. How can you forget somebody who fought for you? First of all, my point. Say, for example, if you take care of your son, you're raising him. Tomorrow, after he gets older, he says, "I don't know about her. Who cares about her?" How do you feel? Isn't Sambhaji our ancestor? Isn't Shivaji Maharaj our ancestor? Shouldn't we be proud of them? Shouldn't we celebrate their birthdays and the death anniversaries? Shouldn't we? My only prayer, prarthana individually to parents is that if you do not revere these, your kids will not. They will not. They will not know, first of all, who they are. Because you don't know, right? If you, on their birthdays, on their death anniversaries, if you put up his picture and say, "He died for us, Nana," if you tell your kids, they will know. Right? If we don't know, Why would they know? If you don't care about that, don't watch Chhaava. If you don't care about your ancestors, absolutely no problem. You don't have to. Don't watch Chhaava. At least through movies, kids will get to know who is your ancestor. Till now, Bollywood is completely dominated by mafia. But at least somebody now is taking movies like Uri. Somebody is taking movies like this. But lot of people, all the families immediately go to Taggedelu. But we don't want to watch Chhaava because that is reality. Because we always are behind fantasy, but not reality, right? Reality for us is like, oh my God, we don't want to touch that. Fantasy is like, oh yeah, it's just illusion. One hero hits 500 people. That's illusion. But a great warrior of our ancestors, a great grandfather, Sambhaji, fought against hundreds and thousands of soldiers. When we went yesterday, every scene I was clapping. People were, feeling if we have to clap or not. It's my ancestor. He's my hero. He's the real hero for me. At the end of the movie, everybody left, but I waited until all the names were going. Because I have to revere. They all did something for my, great grandfather. This is where we are failing. But the end, 20 minutes, goosebumps. Every time when they were humiliating him, whenever he says Jai Bhavani, that gives some emotion. Every time he says, I will fight for this Swaraj. I don't know about others, but I felt some kind of emotion inside. It's worth watching. Do not miss it. These kind of movies, do not miss. Back and take your families to Chhaava. Chhaava is a wonderful movie to watch. One really good dialogue that I remember is that at last, there are so many, but when he asks, join me, Aurangzeb goes and asks, you join me, convert to Islam. Join me and we can do things. He says, you join me, you don't have to convert. See, if you join me, you don't have to convert, man. If I join you, I have to convert. That was a beautiful slap on the face for so many secularists and so many Buddhajivis, right? That was beautiful.